It was Desert Storm, 1991. I remembered it carefully because everybody was confused. Pandemonium was all around the camp. We all were wondering what the bloody hell was going to happen. Marines were being sent from Camp Pendleton from every conceivable unit. And I was preparing to go, and I was part of a detachment that was going to be going, and we were told that we have to go make our wills, get things ready, because we're going to be leaving soon. I'd sent a few of my Marines over there to do what they were supposed to be doing, and they were attached to another unit, I think to the 11th MEO, something like that, and we were hearing all the news of what was taking place in Iraq. Saddam Hussein and his people were going bloody crazy, and we, the Americans, were going to do our best to put a stop to that. We had military personnel from all over the country fighting, being shot at, being killed. We had the bombs, we had the Scud missiles, and all sorts of nonsense taking place. And the screams and the families of the loved ones being fighting in Iraq and putting their lives on the line. And it was really pandemonium. It was a moment in time we'll never forget. I lost a few people. There were quite a few military personnel being killed by friendly fire. Because in time of war, nobody knows what the bloody hell is going to happen. You're over there, you're fighting for your country, you're fighting to stay alive, you have fear, you're struck by fear, you're living by fear. And sometimes fear is what keeps you alive. As time went by, the news came back, and who was not coming back, and who was missing in action, and some of whom were blown up to bits, stomach all pulling out all over the bloody place. It was chaotic. I can see how PTSD starts and how PTSD continues, because the fact is, when you're in the midst of something like that and you lose someone, a friend, a buddy, whose guts are all over the place and in the palm of your hands and all over your body, it can be very scary. And you don't forget things like that. You just don't forget things like that. Oh my goodness, Desert Storm. It was one of those wars we'll never forget. It was it shaped the fabric of our lives at that time, and the way we thought things, the way we looked at things, and it changed the dynamic of the American system that was taking place at that time. And a lot of people didn't make it. A lot of people still suffering from it. We had female military personnel coming back from Desert Storm after years because they spread all types of chemicals over there, Saddam Hussein. And some women came back and still are not able to bear children. Some can't use their wombs because the wombs will not function. But I'm so glad that's behind us. And we had the Iraq War continued. That's when the good President of the United States, George W. Bush, who declared the war was over. How wrong he was. How wrong he was. Well, it didn't help his presidency a whole lot. It pissed people off because this is a commander-in-chief. I was just speaking vicariously, and didn't know what the bloody hell he was talking about. I guess he meant well, but that irritated some people because, once again, American families were losing their loved ones, and they were not coming back. And those that did come back, came back mutilated, amputated, double amputees and different things, and still having a very hard time dealing with that today. And it was sad. We had also the British soldiers. We had France also involved, in quite a few other countries. And, you know, America and England will always be allies. I've always been allies and always will be allies. And they put on a good show. And but we lost so many. We gave so many. And my word, you know, you tell that story, you saw the tears that were falling from the faces of Marines, young and old, because they had lost their buddies or troops, and they were never going to see them again. And sometimes we try not to remember by having a beer. Budweiser, Heineken, Beck's, some bloody nonsense. Just something just to make the time go by quickly. But Desert Storm was a war we shall never forget. It was a day in infamy, so to speak, and it was catastrophic. It was monumental. It was changing in times, you know. And thank God we don't have to deal with Saddam Hussein anymore. He's gone. But other wars continue. I shall continue this. I shall probably go and do what I did back then and just have a cool one. Not a Miller. I shall have a Heineken. Heineken, I think it's a man's beer, but it must be ice cold. And what the bloody hell. Give it a go. Cheers.